Thank you everyone for tuning in to watch this video. I'm going to be breaking down a series of plays, a series of formations with certain personnel packages. And I'm going to show you some things that I think are not very good for this offense that I think need to be changed. I think the Wingbone offense as a whole is not an effective run offense. It has a lot of flaws. There are many tendencies, and I'm going to show you the predictability of a lot of these plays, the tendencies, and why good defenses will shut down this style of offense. To begin with, this is my honest opinion. I think it takes balance. It takes balance to go a long way in a tournament. It takes balance to win state. It takes good quarterback play to be able to get a team through tough times. You get behind, you better have a quarterback that can throw. And lucky for Hobart, they have a very good passing quarterback. Andrew Barris, in my opinion, is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in Northwest Indiana. He is a very accurate passer, has a very strong arm, and this offense really holds him back. And they have a couple really good skill position players in Devereaux and Nick Bokun, who really, I think, get underused at times. Devereaux is used a lot in this offense as a wingback, but he is very valuable in the open field as a receiver. He is an exceptional route runner, has good hands, and he is fast. He's got good quickness. This is a player that you definitely want to get the football in his hands as much as possible, but I don't think this particular offense is good for the personnel that we are using here. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? We're going to go over formations with Devereaux as a wingback, then we're going to move on to Nick Bokun when he is lined up as a wingback. We'll briefly go over the wishbone formation that they use, and then we'll talk a little bit about the single back formation. Some of these single back formations I think are actually pretty good for the personnel that this team has. And in my opinion, it really makes better use of your quarterback. You can achieve more balance, and in turn you can have a more potent offense when you have the threat of both the run and the pass. So let's start right here, right away. Let's go over this first formation. This is one of their base packages. It's a wingbone formation where you have a fullback lined up directly behind the quarterback. You've got an offset tailback to the right, and then you've got Devereaux, your best overall athlete, lined up as a wingback. And then up at the top you have one wide receiver. A couple things I want to make note of. This is the first offensive play of the Munster game. And if you look up here, first thing I want to show you, this wide receiver, there's about 10 yards. The cornerback's about 10 yards off the football. That's the first thing I want to show you guys. The linebackers are already shifted over to the right, which is a very big mistake. If you'll watch, I'll show you exactly why. There's no reason for the linebackers to be shifted this way. This run, when Devereaux is in the ball game as a wingback, the one word that describes this formation is misdirection. You're going to see misdirection on every run play involving Devereaux, because what he's going to do, he will not lead block on any plays, on any stagger run plays heading in this direction. If it's a stagger going off to the left and Devereaux is here, he's not going to lead block. He will always come in motion. And either they're going to hand the football off to Devereaux on an end around, or they're going to run a counter inside to Noah Smith, running either up the middle or off tackle. So when you see Devereaux lined up as a wingback, it's always going to be some type of a misdirection run. And this is what happens. This is the first down play against Munster. So as you can see, Devereaux going to come in motion here on the snap. He's coming in motion. This time they're going to hand it to Noah Smith. Smith going to run right up the middle. Devereaux going to fake the end around to him. And Smith is actually going to stay on his feet and gain about 8 yards on the play. Nice run play, right? I mean, it's the first drive of the game. But judging from tendencies in many other games, we're not surprised by this at all, because that's a tendency. When they line up in that particular formation with Devereaux lined up as a wingback, you're going to see a misdirection. And they call this play crossfire. This is what I don't like about this offense. I'm going to give you a few reasons why I think this is a terrible offense for this team to run. Number one, your best athlete is lined up as a wingback. We know about his explosiveness. We know how dangerous he is running down the field. He's fast. He runs great routes. He can stretch a defense. But when he's lined up here, your passing game is useless. Here's your tight end. He's probably one of the 3 best tight ends in the area. Might be the best tight end in the area. He hangs on to everything. He does a great job of finding holes in the zones. He is a very intelligent football player. But in this set, he's relegated to blocking. That's all he's used for, is blocking in this formation. This is probably your 3rd or 4th best receiver, and he's lined up out here by himself. And even though there's nobody within 10 yards of him, Hobart's not going to throw this football. He's your 3rd or 4th best wide receiver. No team is going to worry about this guy running down the field. Your biggest threat's right here and right here, and they're both blockers. So the reason why this formation sucks is because a good defense, and unfortunately these guys really didn't get the memo in time, a good defense is going to put 9 or 10 guys in the box here. And I'll show you examples where this does happen. But the reason why you would put 9 or 10 guys in the box is because you've got probably your 3rd best receiver playing on the outside here. I'm not worried about him. Number 2, pretty much every play they run out of here is going to be some type of misdirection run. There's very little variety in the passing game. You're very rarely going to ever see a pass out of this formation. So you've taken a solid passing quarterback, an explosive wide receiver, and a great pass-catching tight end completely out of the picture because you want to run misdirection crossfire plays with Devereaux coming around and counter plays to Noah Smith going the other direction. That's all they run out of this stuff. Your passing game is non-existent when they run these formations. And I'm going to run this play for you. I'm going to tell you right now, Hobart scores a touchdown. But let's look at how the defense is lined up here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 5-man front, 6, 7. You've only got 7 guys in the box here. For some reason, they're playing 2 safeties deep with a corner playing about 10 yards off the football. This is just idiotic defensive strategy. This is a coordinator that did not do his homework, because there's no indication, there's no reason that you would play 2 safeties back against this offensive set. If Devereaux's lined up here, I am not worried about a downfield pass. But this is exactly what happens. They're actually going to hand this off. Once again, it's just another misdirection. You got a pulling guard pulling to the right. It's going to be an end around to Devereaux. And because these guys are late to the party, because you had 2 safeties playing back deep, because these guys are late coming in, Devereaux makes a good cutback, and he's off to the races. Here's one missed tackle. Here's another guy that takes a horrible angle. And this play is going to go all the way for a touchdown. But the reason why that play even had a chance was because of the stupidity of the defensive coordinator to put 2 deep safeties when really, at worst, you would put 1 safety back there. I'm not even sure I'd even do that. You could put 10 guys in the box, take your chances one-on-one on the outside with probably the 3rd best receiver on this team, and you take your chances with that, because I highly doubt Hobart's going to, drop back and throw a pass to that player this offense is not really predicated on throwing the football or throwing the ball downfield in these wingbone formations. Here's Devereaux lined up here again as a wingback. And every time Hobart's going to snap the football, I mean, he's always going to come in a motion to the opposite direction. And that's something that you're going to expect. And on this particular play, they're actually going to run a power toss play to the right. Doesn't seem like a bad idea, but the defense knows that he's always going to come in motion this direction. So they're always going to be ready for him to get a handoff or a toss or whatever, because you know the scouting report says, hey, he's gonna come this direction. Now they don't run any kind of counter or fake counter going this way, but at the same time, we still have this guard kind of blocking down this way, which kind of tips it off. But also, this play takes a little bit too long to develop, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. He's already in a motion pre-snap. So as soon as they see that, they know that there's a good chance he's either going to get a toss or something like that. I mean, considering he's going in a C motion behind the line of scrimmage, the defense has to be aware, okay, he's either going to get a toss this play or it's going to be another misdirection heading that way. So, seeing as they're already tipped off to his motion, they're going to be well prepared for either him getting a toss going that way or another counter play going this way to the left off tackle. And let's watch. Here's the toss. He's already lined up way behind the line of scrimmage. Look where he is. He's 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage when he gets this toss. This play takes too long to develop, which gives these linebackers and linemen plenty of time to pursue and limit this play, and I don't think he gets more than a yard on this play. Pretty much no gain. And a lot of it has to do with how time-consuming a lot of these plays are. It wasn't even a misdirection, but he was so far behind the line of scrimmage, the play just took too long to develop. Here's the first play of the lull game. Hobart comes out, actually two wide receivers set. And it looks like they have Bokun lined up as a tight end. They've got the fullback directly behind Barris, and of course we've got Smith lined up staggered off to the left. So, as I've stated earlier, Hobart's only thrown the ball 4 times on first down all season. So, knowing that fact, we're automatically expecting run. Even though they do have 2 receivers out in this package, we're still expecting a run given what we know. And if they do run the ball, we know it's either going to be up the middle with the fullback, or it's probably going to be a counter to the right with Noah Smith. And the third possibility would just be a straight off-tackle run by Smith with a trio as the lead blocker. But it's either going up the middle or it's going to the right. There's nowhere else this run play can go. So, right away, Lowell does the right thing. They have their linebackers staggered off, or not staggered off, they have their linebackers shifted over to the right, which is the proper thing for them to do. And on this first down play, let's watch what happens. Now let me show you something else here. Devereaux came in motion, right? We know if he comes in motion, he's just going to come behind the line of scrimmage. So it's just like him being lined up as a wingback. It's having him come in motion from the receiver spot is basically the equivalent of having him lined up right here as a wingback. Same exact thing. So he comes on the end around. Of course, they're not going to give the ball to him. They're going to give it on the counter play to the right going to Noah Smith. So let's run the play. Here he is. And this play goes nowhere. Great job. Great pursuit. Lowell did everything perfectly on that play. And so when they run this play, this is another thing that, you know, a defense this guy has to stay home. Okay? Even though this play's supposed to go, this guy's got to stay home because he has to be aware of the fact that Devereaux might come around on an end around. And if he does, if he stays home, this play is going to get blown up no matter what. These linebackers are pursuing over here, but he's going to loop around and stay home. This play is going to get killed no matter what. And see, he's already, even if Barris hands the football off to Devereaux, this dude is going to blow him up. Ouch. This time, Lowell's going to play this correctly. You've got Devereaux lined up as a wing once again. And of course, we know from past plays, we know it's pretty much always going to be some type of a misdirection. He's going to come around this way. Probably going to be some kind of counter going there. Or it could be a fullback dive up the middle. Those are the three possibilities. With this receiver lined up at the top, we're not worried about a throw. And especially when you got Eddie Simmons, one of the top cornerbacks in Northwest Indiana, Lowell could honestly afford to probably put all 10 guys up here in the box and take your chances out here. Lowell actually only has 8 in the box. You have a 9th who is kind of creeping up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. But there's still another deep safety. So this play works for about 3 or 4 yards, but Lowell starts really crowding the line of scrimmage a lot more, which is going to make this run game a lot more difficult for the Brickies to execute. But let's run through the play. Now here's Devereaux in motion. Now he comes in motion like this. I mean, we're automatically assuming this run play is going here or here. He's coming in motion. They normally don't hand the ball off to him on a jet sweep going like this. So if he's going past the line of scrimmage like this, we're expecting a run play up the middle or to the left. This time it's a counter, and here's Noah Smith. And Lowell actually has, I mean, a few bodies here ready to make the stop. Smith does a good job of making the most out of this run. Gets about 4 yards on the play, 3.5, 4 yards. But once you put enough bodies, 8 or 9 bodies, up here at the line of scrimmage, the options that Hobart has running the football, it becomes very limited what they can do, because we know that the passing game is almost non-existent. So defenses can afford to put 9 or 10 guys in the box. Okay, I'm going to show you guys one more play with Devereaux as a wingback. And keep in mind, I don't care who else is in the game down here at wide receiver, this guy's basically, all he's going to do is run off the cornerback. They're not going to throw a pass out of this formation to him. And like I've said before, the drawbacks to this formation, you've got your most explosive player in here as a wingback. And you've got your all-everything tight end, just, you know, run blocking. That's his only duty, is to run block in this formation. And Andrew Barris is pretty much useless here. You could put a monkey at quarterback and it would make no difference, because all he's going to do is hand the ball off. It's either going to be a counter play this way, or it's going to be an end around going that way with Devereaux. I mean, it's nothing complicated. And like I said, we're not worried about this guy catching a pass. So Lowell's got 8 in the box. Let's bring this guy down here. In fact, I would even take a chance and bring the other safety down into the box, and we'll just overload the box with 9 or 10 bodies, and this play would be completely shut down no matter where the play goes. And if there's a pulling guard, the pulling guard's going to immediately send a red flag on where this play is designed to go, on who's going to get the football and where the play will go. I haven't run through this play yet, but I'm almost assuming it's going to be some kind of misdirection this way or this way, so let's run through it. Well, here we go. Once again, it's going to be kind of a counter to Devereaux, and he's designed to come around here. And let's back this up a little bit. here's the one glaring thing that you gotta keep in mind. They've got a pulling guard coming to the right. Okay, or coming to the left of the formation. We've got the right guard pulling left. It already sends a smoke signal of where this play is designed to go. So we already know it's going to go to Devereaux because this pulling guard's going this way. Okay. This is another thing. It's stupid because this little misdirection motion, it means nothing. If I see this guy coming in motion, we immediately know that Devereaux is going to get the football. And this play actually runs off for a decent gain. But the fact that, the guards automatically tell you, the pulling guards tell you where the play is going. And so, the middle linebacker can just pay attention to the guards, see who's pulling where, because in a majority of these misdirection plays, they almost always have a pulling guard. Sometimes they don't, but I would say over 50% of the time they do. I've said it before in previous clips, just about every single time that they line up like this, you're going to see Devereaux coming in motion one way and then a handoff, probably misdirection coming the other way. But in this particular formation, you can see that Devereaux is already lined up over here. You can see the staggers going off this way, but he's lined up over here. This is about the only, and trust me, this is about the only time you're going to see Devereaux actually try and lead block. But, as we can see here, I guess there's a good reason why they don't use him as a lead blocker on any of their other strong running plays. They're going to try a quick toss here to Satterfield. It looks like Trio's going to kind of just come up the middle as if he's going to take a run up the gut. And they're actually going to run a toss play here to Satterfield. The problem is that Devereaux just isn't a very good blocker. He's not big. He's not that big. He's, I don't know, maybe 160 pounds, 170 pounds at the most. And he just gets overpowered here, and this play really gets blown up. And you can just see why he's not a lead blocker on any of these runs. Here he is trying to make a block, and he just gets dominated. And basically, this linebacker, Hopkins, they will just get in there and make the tackle. But the reason why you can see that they don't use him, he's just not that strong. And he's a lot more useful as, a decoy, coming in motion, trying to confuse a defense. His strength is definitely not run blocking. Once again, Devereaux lines up here as a wingback. We've got the stagger going off towards the right. And we've got probably the number 2 receiver lined up here at the top. There's a lot of things I don't like about this play. But let's take a look pre-snap. Top of the screen. This wide receiver, this is the number 2 receiver on Hobart's team. He's got at least 8 yards between him and the defender. At least. Might even be more than that. Could have about a 10-yard cushion here. Pre-snap, if you gave this guy a little bit more freedom, a little bit more carte blanche prior to the snap, he could recognize this. As you're going to see, he's going to motion Devereaux to this side of the field. He could cancel all this. He could, tap the helmet, have some sort of quick audible, or he could throw a smoke screen out here to his receiver, who's basically in a one-on-one battle here with the corner. The linebackers are in tight. The line is in tight. There's nobody that's going to get out here in time. This play is going to get at least 5 or 6 yards if he only can recognize this at the line of scrimmage. But at any rate, we're going to run the play the way it is. Now, as we've mentioned in other clips, we know that Devereaux is going to come in some type of motion to the other side of the field. This time, he's going to just run right down the line of scrimmage. So as you will see here, when Devereaux is motioned towards the other side line of scrimmage, one of 2 things are going to happen. Number 1, you might see a straight handoff to the fullback. You might see a counter play to Noah Smith going this way. Or the third thing you might see is a play action, because they're motioning Devereaux to this side. A lot of times what they'll do on their play action passes, they're just going to basically run off the defensive backs. Devereaux's going to run off the safety, and the other receiver's going to run off the cornerback, because they're going to try to set up trio on a flat pass coming out of the backfield. But in this particular case, it's just going to be an inside fullback dive, and even on it's really a trap because the left guard's going to be pulling. But they, fake the counter to Smith going this way, and it's just a dive up the middle with trio, and this play works out pretty good. But the run concepts are not that complicated. We already know that the run can only be one of those two things. It's not going to go to the left sideline of scrimmage. If we see Devereaux coming in motion, running down the line, we see him running down the line of scrimmage here, well, we know he's not going to be taking any kind of misdirection handoff at that point. So we know the run play has to go in this direction or this direction. It's going on this sideline of scrimmage if it's a run. Or it's going to be that little play action dump off the trio out of the backfield. Now I want to show you some formations involving Nick Bokun lined up as a wingback. And there's a couple of big tendencies that I want to point out when Bokun is in the game in the wingback spot. Number one, he does not take any handoffs. There are not going to be any misdirection motions where Bokun is going to come opposite to where the running backs are. He is in the game purely as a lead blocker. That is his main purpose in this formation. It's a consistent tendency that you will see almost every single snap when he is in the game. What they're going to do here, they're going to motion Bokun to this side of the line of scrimmage, because this is, the strong side of where this run's going to go. The stagger is always going to go in this, in the towards the other side of the line of scrimmage. They're not going to run any type of sweep or stretch play going off to the left. The stagger is always going to the right. And the two plays that they will run will either be a counter play to the tailback, in which he's still going to follow Bokun probably through between the guard or the tackle and the tight end, or it's just going to be a straight off tackle run to Noah Smith. So it's really not complicated. The run play is always going to come in the direction where the stagger is facing, and Nick Bokun is almost always going to be lead blocking. Let's run the play again. Here he is in motion, and this time they're going to hand it off to trio going right up the gut, and a lot of the times they're going to run a counter, or kind of fake to trio and hand off to Smith going this way. But the run will always go up the middle, or it's going to go directly to the side where Bokun is motioning to. So it's really not that difficult of a read. Here's another example. Once again, Bokun lined up to the right side of the line of scrimmage as a wingback. You can see the stagger of the two backs is facing in the direction of the left side of the line of scrimmage. Bokun's going to come in motion once again. And this time the handoff should go to Noah Smith off tackle to the left. Once again, when they're in this formation like this, they're not going to run anything going to the side of where Bokun is right now. He's always going to come in motion, and he's always going to be utilized as a lead blocker. Bokun's going to come in motion, and just going to be a quick counter to the left, and pretty simple. We know from past games and what the tendencies are, that run play is always going to come in that direction. And so when Bokun's in the ball game, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's almost always going to be a run to the side that he motions to, or if he starts off on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, he'll just stay there. And here's an example I want to show you right now Bokun is already lined up over here, the direction of where the stagger would be going, and he's just going to stay there because this play is designed. It's just pretty much a strong power run off tackle in this direction. Now, I mean, it'd be a great power running play, but any team that would pick up on this tendency should automatically be slanting the line, shifting the linebackers over to this side. They should be ready for this. This is the first drive of the game against Munster. And Hobart has been very good on opening drives this season, but what has happened is the defenses later on in the game, they do pick up on the tendencies. And I'm just going to show you right here. It's just going to be an off tackle to the left. It's a short yardage situation. And this is another tendency that you'll find within this offense. As you can see here, Nick Bokun is lined up as a wing. We have the two staggered backs. This time it's going to be a simple counter play going off to the left. We already know with Bokun in the game lined up here. I mean, we already know the run play has to go this direction because we know Nick Bokun's not going to take a handoff going opposite to the right. So we automatically know it's going to be something going up the middle or going to the left. One common thing you're going to see with Hobart in a lot of their run plays, you're going to see a lot of pulling guards. And the problem with having a pulling guard on a lot of your run plays, it telegraphs exactly where the run is designed to go. And what you're going to see here, you're going to see the right guard pulling to the left because it's a counter play going left to Noah Smith. Let's play it out here. Fake the trio. And here comes Noah Smith coming off tackle to the left. And he's able to get a couple of yards, maybe about 3 yards on that carry. But Munster should automatically see that coming. Not only are they tipped off by the fact that it's a stagger off to the left with Bokun in as a wingback, but also seeing that pulling guard pulling to the left, the right guard pulling left, is going to tip you off that the run is going to go that direction. Okay guys, I'm going to show you this play real fast. This is a goal line set. Lowell has 10 guys crowding the line of scrimmage here, if you can tell. Now I'm going to tip you off on one thing. I did tell one of Lowell's defensive players this tip about Nick Bokun. Wherever he goes is where the run play is going to go. And obviously, with these backs staggered this way, we already know. I mean, I've already explained it a million times. It's going this way. It's going that way. I mean, there's no other way. There's no other direction this run's going to go. So when he comes in motion, you're going to see one of the players, point to this because they know the tendency that this is going to be a strong side run right behind his butt. Right behind his butt here. And Lowell does an outstanding job of stacking up this run for maybe a 1-yard gain. Let's watch. Now watch what happens here. Bokun goes in motion. Look at this. He recognizes it. He knows exactly where this run's going to go. He's already pointing over to the right. He knows exactly what's going to happen. Okay, these guys have been well coached on this. They know exactly what to expect, and they're ready for it. And watch what happens. They stuff this run for like maybe 1 yard. Okay? That's what a good defense will do. A good defense will recognize those tendencies and they will shut this stuff down. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's simple stuff. When you look at the footage, you can see exactly where these run plays are designed to go. One of the big issues that I have with this particular offense is the play calling. And not only are a lot of the run plays obvious, just as it would be here, but it's 3rd and long. It's 3rd and about 9-10 yards. This is 3rd and long, and this is in the 3rd quarter of the game against Lowell. 3rd and long. And they're lined up in a jumbo package like this. They have one receiver lined up to the top. Devereaux lined up to the top. they're going to run a play action deep pass. And like I said, they don't run a lot of, most of the play action stuff they run is designed to go short into the flats. But this time they're going to take a deep shot down the field. And they're going to run a play action on 3rd and long. Now obviously any good defense, when faced with a 3rd and long situation, you're not going to be concerned with a play action. Because even if he does hand this football off, if he gets 4 or 5 yards, so what? He's still going to be well short of the first down, and they're going to still have to punt. So it makes no sense to run a play action in this situation. But, as Hobart is notorious for, they're going to run that play action because Lowell's definitely going to be concerned about a run on 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 11, whatever it is. Bears has some time. And you know what? Coverage is pretty good down the field. You know why the coverage is good down the field? Because they weren't buying play action pass. And here's Bears under siege. He's going to get sacked. He loses the football. And Mr. Garza runs in the end zone and he's celebrating. And the reason why that play happened was obviously because of the play call. It had nothing to do with the players on the field. I don't blame the players on the field for the play call. It was just a stupid play call, and that's one of the many issues with this offense. You pick that particular time to call a play action deep pass on 3rd and long. No defense is going to respect that. So as you would expect, Lowell's going to bring a hard pass rush. Whether they're sending 4 or 5, they're coming on a hard pass rush. They're not worried about Hobart running the football, and this play just gets blown up. Bears can't find anyone down the field, and Lowell ends up recovering a sack fumble for a touchdown. Here's another popular thing Hobart likes to do out of their Wingbone sets. As I've mentioned, they don't like to throw the ball very much out of these 2-back stagger sets. But when they do throw it, it's usually going to be a play action rollout and dump off to trio, the fullback out in the flat. This is one thing that they really love to do. That's about the only play action you're going to see them run out of any of these Wingbone sets. In this particular formation, they've got 2 receivers lined up at the top, and you have your 2 stagger backs, which are obviously lined up to go this way. If they're going to run the ball, it's going up the middle or it's going to the right. But in this particular play, it's 2nd and long, so they're going to run a simple play action, and Barris gets under fire quickly, but Lowell just does not do a good job of picking up the fullback out of the backfield, and he's able to get loose and get a big gain. But this is a very popular passing play that they'll do when they do actually throw the ball out of this formation. So we'll play it. Play action. This guy already immediately is coming after the quarterback. He stays home and comes after the quarterback, but the problem, this guy's coming out of the backfield, no one's catching him. You've got 2 defensive backs that are chasing the wide receivers, and so this guy doesn't see trio coming out of the backfield, and it's really an easy throw, and actually a really nice throw considering the pressure that was put on Barris. But this is about the only passing play you're going to see out of this particular formation. Any of the Wingbone formations where you have 2 running backs staggered, this is about the only play action play you can expect. There's going to be a dump off to the fullback. I've said earlier that when Hobart will run a play action pass out of this particular formation, out of a Wingbone set, when they run a play action, it's usually going to be a dump pass to the fullback. And I got a couple of problems with that. Number one, you've got a great pass catcher here in Nick Bokun. You've got a great receiver in Devereaux. We're going to put him in motion. We're going to take him out of the play. And we're going to run a play action boot pass to the flat to our fullback. Not to say that he's a bad pass catcher, but for him to be your main option on a play action pass, it just baffles me. Because you've got a couple of outstanding playmakers here that are being completely not utilized on the play. So let's go through it. This is a 3rd and long, by the way. This is 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 10. It may even be a goal-to-go situation, but I know for a fact this is 3rd down. I think they have to get down to about the 3-yard line. Here comes Devereaux in motion. Now he's going to run, I mean, he's basically going to run out of the play here. So let's keep it going. Here's a little play action to trio. First of all, it's 3rd and about 10, or almost 10. And we're going to be running a play action boot, which I don't know, on a 3rd and 10, I don't think a defense is going to be concerned about a play action to begin with, but that's beside the point. Bokun is coming out here on a pass route, but from what I've seen in watching Hobart's play action passes, it seems like the play is designed to go to the flat to trio, and that's exactly where Bears goes. I mean, he's not even looking at Bokun, waiting for Bokun to possibly break to the end zone. He's looking for trio coming out in the backfield here. And I have a big problem with that, because you're not utilizing your tight end or your best receiver. You've taken them both out of the play, and you're basically just setting it up for your fullback. While I think he's a pretty good pass catcher, he's not nearly the playmaker that these other two guys are. And this seems to be the only true passing play that they run out of these Wingbone sets. So, dumps it off to the fullback. Good tackle made, about 3 yards short of the 1st down. And, you know, third and 10, not a very good play call. Obviously, Lowell's going to be expecting a pass, and they're not going to be too worried about giving up a few yards on the ground. So a play action pass doesn't make a whole lot of sense in this situation. But the point of me showing you this play is to show you that these plays are exactly the same. The play action plays they run it's all the same. It's basically just waiting for the fullback to clear into the flat, and that's where that football is going to go. Okay, here we are once again. This is kind of this is the base package once again, and with Devereaux lined up over here. Like I said, he's either going to motion to the backfield, or he's going to motion down the line of scrimmage here. Now when he motions down the line of scrimmage, we already know it's either going to be run up the middle or run off to this side. Or it's going to be a play action. And in this case, it's going to be a play action. And this is probably one of their most deadly play action plays. They don't run this very often at all, but they are actually going to try to hit Nick Bokun down the seam here. And you can see they'll put Devereaux all the way in motion. He's always used as a decoy, and his objective he's just basically running off coverage here. And they're going to they're designed to get this ball to Bokun. But Andrain does a good job of recognizing this. They know it's either going to be a run this direction, or it's going to be a play action. Now, as we've shown you in other clips, this fullback has been a primary receiver in just about all these play action plays. This time, they are going to try to get the ball to Nick Bokun. And as I've shown you in other clips, they do run him down the field, but they use him to run off coverage. This time they're going to try to get him the football. So it's kind of a little play action. And so as you can see here, we've got a really nice pocket for Bears to throw the football. That's not my issue. We have Bokun running down the middle of the field here, but there's really no other options on this play. It's basically one read and that's it. And Bears tries to get the football to Bokun, but I mean, you can see there's a lot of 59ers, and there's two 59ers that are in position to make a play on the football here. There's really no other option on this play. I mean, the passing plays, you cannot get very creative out of these Wingbone sets. And that's one big drawback. You are trying to get your best pass-catching tight end involved, but there's really no other option on this play to throw the ball to. So as we run through it, the safety actually makes a nice play on the ball, deflects it in the air, and that pass ends up incomplete. Okay, here it is, the famous wishbone formation. It's a true wishbone set with the fullback behind the quarterback, and then you've got two backs basically lined up in a split. Behind the fullback, you've got Satterfield here, and you've got Noah Smith here. Two tight ends. A couple of red flags here, or a couple of tendencies really. Number one, Hobart has not thrown a pass out of this formation all season. So, as a defense, when we see this formation, we're automatically going to assume run. And as you can see here, Lowell has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 bodies. 10 bodies within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage here. So, I mean, Lowell is completely selling out to stop the run here. The second thing is the plays that are run out of here are it's almost always going to be a counter. So there's going to be a counter to Satterfield going right, or a counter to Noah Smith going left. And the only other option would be a fullback dive to trio. Just like all of our other run plays, it's the same exact concept. This time it's a balanced formation, so the defense really isn't tipped off as to which direction the run play is going to go. But the fact that we know it's going to be a run, considering they never throw out of this formation, we're going to crowd the line of scrimmage, and we're going to basically win with numbers. They don't have enough bodies to block 8 or 9 or 10 defenders. So this play, if the defense plays it properly, should get blown up for little to no gain. And let's watch to see what Hobart does here. This is 1st and 10. Here's going to be a little counter play going to the right. And here's another problem with these counter plays is the point of attack. You don't have as many blockers. When you're running counter plays, you're taking 3 or 4 of your potential blockers out of the play, which means you're going to be outmanned up front here. And so Satterfield has basically nowhere to go because Lowell has completely crowded the line of scrimmage. So the main reason why this play fails is lack of numbers. Lowell has a lot more at the point of attack than Hobart does, and as long as Lowell stays disciplined and can make a form tackle, this play is going to get blown up, and that's exactly what happens. Here's another example I want to show you guys out of the wishbone set. Given the fact that we know it's not a passing formation, bring everybody up towards the line of scrimmage. Bring 10 guys. Bring 10 guys up to the line of scrimmage. And Drayan plays this a little bit more conservatively, and they get burned for it. We know from past tendencies that Hobart will run mostly counter plays out of here. It's going to either be a counter to the left with Noah Smith, a counter to the right with Satterfield, or they'll just run a fullback dive up the middle. Pretty much 3 options you're going to see on this play. You rarely ever will see both backs on one side lead blocking in one direction. They don't do that. It's always going to be some kind of misdirection that you're going to see out of this formation. And while the concept might be good, the fact that we know they don't pass out of this, we're going to have this line of scrimmage completely congested to begin with. Number 2, when Hobart runs any kind of misdirection, you're going to take about 3 or 4 guys, 3 or 4 potential blockers out of the picture, which means you're going to have less bodies to block all these other defenders. But in this case, and Drayan plays this a little too conservatively. Satterfield actually makes a really nice cut on this counter play, and he makes a good cut upfield and actually takes this for a touchdown. So he gets the handoff. We already know that it's a counter play to Satterfield, and we'll run through this real quick. First thing you got to notice, okay? This is the ultimate red flag, and this is what any defense, especially if you're a middle linebacker, first thing you got to be looking at the fact that this guard is pulling to the right. It doesn't matter. I don't care what kind of fake they're trying to draw out here. We know where the play's going. We know where the play's going because this guard is telling us where it's going. So the fact that they're trying to carry out a counter fake going the other direction, it really shouldn't fool anybody. If we're watching where the guards are pulling, the left guard pulling to the right, we know this play is designed to go this direction. But at any rate, Noah Smith once again makes, or not Noah Smith, Zach Satterfield makes a really good cut up here. Linebacker misses a tackle. He's off to the races. We got a second missed tackle, and now it's just a one-on-one race to the end zone. And Satterfield wins that battle, and he scores 6. But as we could see from the concepts that we show within that play, a lot of their counter plays you're going to see pulling guards. The pulling guard makes it quite obvious where the play is going to go. And knowing that there is not going to be a pass thrown, we can take our chances and be very aggressive at the line of scrimmage by bringing 10, if not all 11 players within 4 to 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. On this play, Andrean wises up a little bit on defense. They realize what Hobart's going to do. It's going to be some type of misdirection. This time they're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bodies within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage here. So they're not really buying that Hobart's going to throw the football, and they have no reason to. It's always going to be some type of a run, usually some type of a counter play out of this wishbone formation. And so we'll run through the play here. Here's the snap. Now we automatically know the play is going left. We automatically can see that. This pulling guard telling us where the play is going to go. So this little fake to Satterfield going to the left, this means nothing. We don't care what's going on in the backfield here with all these different fakes, because this guard is telling us exactly where the play is going to go. So he hands it off to Smith on a counter play going left, and as you can see, Andrean's well prepared for it. With 9 bodies at the line of scrimmage, you can't block everybody, especially if it's a counter, because you're already going to be taking a couple of your possible strong side blockers out of the play on that misdirection handoff. And so Andrean does an outstanding job of holding this to little or no gain. This part of the video, I'm going to show you guys some offensive concepts that I do like, and some of them are going to come out of the passing game, but we're going to go to some of their single back and a couple of their empty sets, things that they do that I think make better use of their personnel. It gets more players involved, and it really does a better job of stretching a defense out. As you can see here, they're in a single back, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends set, 1 tailback. And they're basically just going to run a simple hitch route here. Receiver down here at the bottom, just going to run a simple hitch, and it's just a 3-step drop. 3-step drop, fire it in there. It's a quick hitting play. The 59ers, you can see they're playing about 6-7 yards off, well, about 8 yards off of this receiver down here at the bottom, and it's a good way of loosening up the coverage a little bit. With Andrean playing 8 guys in the box, really it's about 9 guys up here close to the line of scrimmage. It's a good way of loosening up coverage a little bit. So nice play call. It's an easy pitch and catch, and let's go through the play here. And as we can see here, throws a quick hitch and a good, nice play by the receiver after the catch, able to spin outside and gain about 5 extra yards. He gets about an 11-yard gain and a first down. So, real good concept, pitch and catch. It's an easy completion. With a quarterback like Bears, he can make that throw quite easily. Even, pre-snap, he could see that at the line of scrimmage. If the coverage is playing off, you could make a quick read, a quick audible, and make that change at the line of scrimmage. So I think it's a good concept. It's a good way to really open up your playbook a little bit with a short passing game. Let's go to the very next play, and you're going to see the exact same thing. This time they're going to go up top to Devereaux on the left side of the line of scrimmage here. As you can see, as we go pre-snap, you can't even see the defender in the picture here. He's playing at least 8 yards off the football. And once again, they do a great job of recognizing this. Just going to be a quick hitch, and Devereaux is going to do a nice job of getting some yak yards after this catch. He's going to get about 18 yards on this play. But it's just a simple 3-step drop and fire it in there. So let's run through the play here. 3-step drop. As you can see, Devereaux already, even before he makes his break, this football is released. And the defenders have no time. Look at this defender falling back. This linebacker falling back. This play is wide open. And when you have a good playmaker like Devereaux, he makes a catch like this. He can make somebody miss. He can, really beat you to the sideline here. And pretty much what he does, he kind of jukes out a defender, and he's off to the races. And he turns that into about an 18-yard gain. A simple 5-yard hitch, he turned into an 18-yard gain. That's what happens when you get good playmakers of football in open space. They make things happen. I want to show you guys this play. This is the play right after the quick hitch to Devereaux. Now, as you can see here, this is a called run play. It's a inside trap to Noah Smith. What I don't like about first of all, if you look at the alignment of the defense, there's nobody here at the bottom of the screen. There's a huge void here down at the bottom of the screen. And if Bears had the freedom to make a quick audible, quick change, tap the helmet, something, line of scrimmage, you can throw a quick smoke screen down here or a quick hitch, something quick to your receiver, and he's going to gain at least 5 or 6 yards on this play, if not more. If he can make a defender miss, he might be gone. Because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys all in this area right here. There's nobody out here. He gets this ball out here quickly. If this receiver makes one defender miss, he's gone. So one thing I don't like, this is why I emphasize strong quarterback play. You got to give this guy the freedom to make this change, or have him look over to the sideline where the coach can make the offensive coordinator can make a quick audible, something to communicate between these two players. Hey, let's get the football out here quickly, and give this guy a chance to run down the field and gain a few yards. These are easy yards here. It's an easy throw, and this is a way to loosen up this defense a little bit. And Drain's got everybody up in the box here. They're well prepared to stop any kind of run play, whether it be up the middle or off tackle one way or the other. They're in very good position to stop this because they've got everybody crowding the line of scrimmage. This is something that you got to be able to take advantage of when you see a mismatch down here like this. So let's run through the play just to show you I'm not lying. It's an inside trap to Smith, and with 9 guys hovering towards the line of scrimmage, not going to be too difficult to stop this for little to no gain. I like it because you still have 2 tight ends here. There's still power at the line of scrimmage. You can still play power football up here. But you've also got a receiver on either side of the line, and it's a balanced formation. And with the run game, you're not limited as to, well, we can only go up the middle, or we can go right. Hey, we can go left, or we can run a play action, or we can throw something quick to the outside. There's a lot more options you have in a formation like this than you do in the Wingbone. And here at the line of scrimmage, I mean, the play is called a quick slant, and as we saw in the last play, Andrean was playing way off on the outside. As you can see, once again, there's not a defender within 10 yards of this wide receiver. There's a huge void here, and this time Hobart going to recognize this. They're going to throw a quick slant to this receiver down here at the bottom, and they could have thrown a hitch or a smoke screen, but instead they do throw the quick slant, and it's there. And people say, well, we've only got one target out. We got one receiver that can make plays. This guy can make plays down here. He's not quite as he's not quite as fast. He's not quite as quick as Devereaux, but he's a good solid pass catcher. He's a good possession guy. And as you can see here, he goes right down to the ground and makes this catch. Quick slant, goes down to the ground and makes the catch. I mean, it's not the easiest catch in the world, but as you can see, we've got a capable receiver here. We've got at least two very solid wide receivers in this offense. It's not just Devereaux and it's not just Bokun. This other receiver is pretty good too. And as you can see from this formation, there's a lot more options that you have, both running and throwing the football, and it's not completely obvious what you're gonna do pre-snap. It's not that predictable, okay? And Drain's expecting a run up the middle, or maybe an off tackle one side or the other. They've got everybody crowded up here, nobody down here. I mean, this is easy stuff for this quarterback. He can easily make this throw. Now here's a play that Hobart runs against Andrean. This is they take a deep shot down the field, and this is a really good idea. The only problem is after the pump fake, Barris gets rid of this ball too soon. I mean, I think you got to give Devereaux a little bit more time to try to get some separation coming down the field. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So it's a quick three-step drop, and now he pump fakes to Devereaux. Let him get down the field here a little bit more. Let him get down to about 30 yards down the field, and then bomb this thing over the top. He throws this ball too soon, and as you can see, you've got the one defender beat. But I would wait, I'd wait about a second or so longer, and then bomb this thing, loft this over the top, and hit Devereaux. Let Devereaux run underneath it. And obviously, what happens here? This defender is able to make a play on the ball because he got rid of it too soon. If he would have waited just a little bit longer for Devereaux to create a little bit of separation, this play could have potentially been a touchdown. But plays like this can really do a great job of isolating your best playmaker and allowing him to stretch the field. As you've seen in some of these other plays, Hobart's thrown a lot of short passes, hitches, slants. Eventually, the defense is going to be expecting that, and it's a good opportunity to hit them over the top. And Drain's playing close in coverage. They didn't have a safety playing back deep. The play would have been there had they waited just about a second longer, and Barris just lofted this ball deep over the top. Devereaux could have beaten his defender and had a big play. Here's another simple passing concept here. They're coming out in a single back, two tight ends, two receivers lined up to the right here. And you can see your best playmaker lined up here in the slot. And it's just a smash play. You're going to have the outside receiver running a quick hitch, and your slot receiver going to run a corner route. But it's a real simple concept, and even this is about their third or fourth best receiver here that's going to be running this hitch route. And I'm not saying that all of Hobart's receivers are big-time downfield playmakers, but your top 3 or 4 receivers can make simple short, catches on short routes. And here's an example right here, and I'll show it to you here. This is it's going to be a 7-step drop by Barris, and he does a nice job of recognizing right away the open receiver here. You've got Devereaux, who's running his corner route. Here's a quick hitch, and it's a simple pitch and catch. And he's not your best receiver. You're not gonna bomb it 30 yards down the field to him, but he can make simple, short catches. You've got other guys on this team that are capable of making plays like this. It's just a simple 5-yard gain, but he's showing that he's a threat to at least catch a short pass. And with this being a simple passing concept, this is this is something that they can do all day long, especially if the coverage allows for it. Pretty nice catch, takes the hit, goes to the ground, holds on to the football, 5-yard gain. Let me preface this by saying I'm not a huge fan of this formation, but the main reason I'm going to show this play is because it really showcases what you have in this tight end. And he's not the fastest guy in the field, but he's really good at finding holes in the zone. And he's sure-handed. He hangs on to everything. Now, with the way they line up here, they're going to line up with Smith kind of lined up as a wing here. When you got 3 wide receivers lined up to this side, automatically my first thought is it's going to be a rollout, because I'm automatically assuming he's here to seal off the edge so Barris can roll out, and it's going to be some type of intermediate pass, because the rollout's going to try to buy some time for these receivers to run deeper routes. So what I'm going to show here is Barris going to roll out here, and as you can see, he's got this short route wide open, but he's more patient. He's waiting for Bokun to come open, and he's wide open right here. I mean, nothing complicated about it. Good throw, and Bokun, is probably one of the best pass catching tight ends in the area. And while he's not the fastest guy in the world, he's strong. As you can see here, he's breaking tackles. He drags defenders about 10 or 12 extra yards. If you get the ball in his hands sometimes, if you give him a chance once in a while to make plays, this guy's capable of doing this kind of stuff all the time. Okay, this is one of my favorite passing plays that I've seen with this Hobart offense. And as you can see here, this is basically just another ace formation. You've got one receiver to the bottom. You've got your 2 best pass catchers up here at the top, your 2 best playmakers. So on this play, as you can see, Devereaux is going to run a wheel route and head up the sideline. Barris is going to have a little bit more time to be able to throw this pass, because this is a deeper route. And while I don't agree on Hobart rolling out quite as much as they do on a lot of these plays, on this particular play, it is warranted, because you definitely want to buy extra time, and shifting the pocket does a good job of buying some time and letting this receiver get further down the field. So this basically just shows more big play ability. This offense, I'm not saying that we're going to be bombing over the top 10 times a game, but this is something that they can be doing every single game. They could take 4 or 5 shots down the field. We talk about focusing on the short passing game. Well, this is an opportunity where you can take a shot down the field, because now the coverage is kind of they're kind of expecting something short, especially since Hobart's been focusing on the short passing game. So this is a real good opportunity to take a home run shot down the field, and that's what they're going to do right here. And you can see Barris takes the snap. He rolls out, and how about the pass protection here? One thing that cannot be undervalued here is the pass protection. So you can say what you want about we feel like this run-based offense is best for our personnel. Well, I got news for you. This offensive line does an outstanding job in pass protection. And as you can see here, Barris has a clean pocket to throw the football. Gets rid of it. There's no pressure in his face. And he basically just leads Devereaux down the field. And this actually isn't bad coverage. This isn't bad coverage, but one-on-one, we're going to take a chance with our best, most explosive threat. And he basically just gives him a chance to make a play one-on-one. And look at Devereaux, even though he's not that tall, he's able to jump up over the defender, make the catch, and score a touchdown. Here's another pass play that I really, really like. We've already shown Devereaux scoring on a wheel route, a deep wheel route pass to him. Now we're going to show a double move. And in this formation, we basically just have a fullback lined up here as an extra blocker. We have one receiver down to the bottom, two receivers up at the top. So what's going to happen here is Barris is going to drop back. He's going to pump fake the football, which is going to make the coverage bite. It's going to make this corner here on the outside bite on that pump fake. And Devereaux is just going to run right by him. And the throw is going to be outstanding. In stride, and Devereaux is going to walk in for a touchdown. Let's go ahead and play it. You can see right here, right before the snap, this linebacker dropping back here in coverage. He's actually going to be playing, this is basically a cover 2 scheme here on this side. Can't tell for sure what coverage they're playing over here, but there's a very good chance it's probably a cover 2 on this side as well, judging by where the corner is. If the corner's in a cover 3 and he's getting beat that bad, I mean, that's not good. So here's the drop back. There's the pump fake. And what happens is this corner bites. The corner bites hard on the pump fake, and then Barris just lets this thing go. And as you can see right here, look at the separation that Devereaux has. He's got 2 steps on his defender. The safety occupied with Bokun here in the middle. He can't get over in time to defend this play. And it's just an outstanding throw over the shoulder and a nice catch made by Devereaux, and he's able to easily make his way into the end zone. And the reason why that play is so successful, a couple of things. Number one, Hobart's been softening up the defense with the short passing game. And so as you can see on that play right there, if you looked at the bottom of the screen, the defender there did a nice job in his coverage, because this receiver is running a quick hitch. He's got pretty good position here on this receiver. So Munster has been noticing the fact that Hobart has been executing the short passing game. So now they're bringing their coverage up a little bit. So this pump fake, it becomes even more deadly because Hobart has established the short passing game. And now it opens up opportunities down the field for a bomb over the top. So as you can see, this offense does have some big play ability. We've seen it a couple of times. We've seen a wheel route, now the double move. It's plays like this that can make this offense a lot more lethal, and you're definitely going to put a lot more pressure on the defense when you show the ability to both run and pass. You know, while I say I'm not a very big fan of this Wingbone offense, this is one of the only formations that I think are actually pretty good. It's not a bad passing formation. The reason why, you've got your best receiver lined up at the top. You've got Bokun lined up here at the bottom. This wingback here, it's almost like having another. It's basically like putting a tight end. It would almost be like if they were running that single back set with 2 tight ends and a tailback. Instead, you've got another wingback set here. So this is almost always going to be a max protect when you see a formation like this. And a majority of the time it's going to be a pass, but this is another good passing play that I like, because you're isolating your best receiver and giving him a chance downfield. And basically it's going to be an out and up, and you're going to see Barris execute a pump fake, and as soon as Devereaux makes his cut up the field, Barris is going to throw this football right on the money. So let's go through this play right here. Barris drops back. Might be a little bit difficult to see, but he just pump faked there. Devereaux basically cut to the outside, And now he's going to cut this up down the sideline, kind of an out and up play. And this safety playing deep middle has no chance to get over and make a play on the football here. So it's a really good isolation route on the outside, especially when you have a big mismatch. KB doesn't exactly have the best pass defense, so being able to isolate your best playmaker, it's a very good play design. It's a good way to get your playmaker an opportunity at a long pass completion. Running this out and up is a very good play design, considering how the defense is lined up. They were playing 8 in the box, and Devereaux's basically just got one-on-one coverage here on the outside. This deep safety has no chance of getting over there in time and making the play. So as soon as Barris does get rid of the football, look at the separation. He's got about 2 steps on his defender. This safety trying to get over, but he just doesn't have the speed and really didn't get that good of a jump on the football to begin with. And this is really a well-executed pass and catch. Once again, Hobart's lined up in this same formation. It's just a single wing off to the left with a fullback. You've got this tight end who always stays in the pass protect, and you've got Devereaux here and you've got Bokun here on the outside. So you basically have isolated 2 receivers on this play, and you're going to have a max protect here by the offensive line and the tight end and the 2 backs. It's, I don't have anything against the formation as a whole, but given the tendencies, considering it's 2nd and 17, I mean, I would think KB would have to be tipped off that Hobart might throw the football, and what I really feel the flaw is within this defense. They have an 8-man. They're putting 8 guys in the box. It's 2nd and 17. You've got 1 deep safety and you've got 2 corner. I mean, I would have at least put another safety back if it's 2nd and long. But that's just poor strategy by KB's defense on this play. But what I do want to give credit to, this is a well-executed play, and it's a good idea. You've got Bokun on the outside. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's got good size, and he can go up and get the pass. And we know that if you throw it anywhere near his area, he's going to find a way to come down with it. So it's just a simple fade route to the end zone. It's a great pass, but an even greater catch by Bokun. But I like the idea that at least you're going to give one of your best all-around playmakers a chance to make a play. And so Barris is going to loft this high in the air. He doesn't throw a bullet pass. He's lobbing it. He's trying to give Bokun an opportunity to run under this football, and he does an outstanding job of hanging onto it and taking a hit. Now, he doesn't have the greatest speed in the world, but if you just throw it in his area, he usually finds a way to come down with it. And I love that play for the simple fact that we're giving one of our best playmakers a chance to make a play. We're not just going to keep him in and block all game. Put him out there on the outside, give him an opportunity to go up and make a catch, and that's exactly what he did there. I'm a real big fan of the short passing game, and one great way to get your best playmakers involved are to get short, easy completions. And in this particular formation, we can see there's 3 wide receivers lined up to the top here. You've got Devereaux in the inside slot, and they're basically just going to run a quick bubble screen to him. And especially, if Griffith's playing some off coverage, you can see that this defensive back's playing 10 yards off the football. So this play is going to be open, and there's going to be an opportunity for a big play, because really it's pretty much one-on-one. He's going to come out here on the bubble, and then you're going to have basically 2 lead blockers. And if Devereaux can just make one guy miss, he's gone. And on this play, they do a nice job of getting him the football quickly. And as you can see, the tight end and the receiver are already in good position to make blocks. And now, he's got to make one guy miss. That's it. If he makes this guy miss, he's going to the end zone. And that's exactly what he does. He's gone. It's a great play design. It's a great way to get your best playmaker involved, and it doesn't really involve anything fancy. You're not throwing, it's not like you're throwing a 30-yard pass down the field. It's simple stuff like that, especially when the defense is playing off like Griffith was there. throwing a simple bubble screen like that, it's guaranteed to at least get 5 or 6 yards, sometimes more, if your playmaker can make somebody miss, and that's exactly what Devereaux did here. Here's that bubble screen again, this time in the Munster game, and simply going to hit Devereaux right away. You've got 2 lead blockers here, and this play doesn't go for a touchdown, but it goes for a nice gain. This is like a 2nd and 7. And as you can see, you've got 2 blockers doing a pretty good job sealing the outside, so Devereaux can basically just cut in here, and he's able to get up the field and get across the 30-yard, and gets about a 10-yard gain and a first down. Here's a 3rd down and long. It's 3rd and about 10. This is in the Munster game, and this is just basically going to be a simple rollout. And what's designed to happen here, the outside receiver, who's Devereaux, is designed to run an outside comeback, and this would have been a first down play, but the inside receiver actually runs the incorrect route. Let's play this in real time now. Let's freeze it right here. Munster sending a 6-man pass rush. You've got 7 pass protectors here, and to be quite honest, the pass protection is not that bad. But what happens here is we make this, as we advance this play further, he gets knocked off of his route, and he runs underneath the comeback, and you've got 2 receivers now in the same area, and this defender, who's actually guarding the other receiver, gets involved and is able to make the interception. Now, if he stays on his correct route and runs his corner or post corner, this play would have been wide open. But I mean, it's a good passing concept. It's a good combo route. 3rd and long. Hobart, I think, rolls out a little bit too often on a lot of these deeper pass plays. That's one reason why I would suggest adding in a shotgun formation, because I think teams will pick up on that 3rd and long with the quarterback, rolling out. You could get a little creative with your blitzes on defense. You can start looping defenders outside to try to send some outside heat over here. But at any rate, Burris has a pretty nice pocket. He's good at throwing on the run, but this receiver has just been completely knocked off his route, and now he's basically getting in the way of the outside comeback. So here's the pass, and this defender, who is actually guarding this receiver, is able to get in the way and make the interception. This other defender, he's way off. He can't make a play on the ball. As you can see over here, Devereaux would have made this play, but the other receiver ran the wrong route. And this play ends up being intercepted, and Munster takes over. Here's a run play that I really like out of this single back 2 receiver set. You've got Noah Smith here in the backfield, and it's basically just going to be an off tackle between the tight end and the right tackle here. Smith basically just going to take this and read his blocks, and he's able to make his way up the field and gain like 6 or 7 yards pretty easily. What I like about the play, it doesn't take too long to develop, but as you watch here, a lot of what Hobart does, you can see they're all shifting over to this side. Okay. Great blocking scheme here on this play. As you can see, Smith makes a very good decision. He cuts inside the tight end. As you can see, he's got an alley up the right side here. But what I like about the play, it doesn't take too long to develop. It doesn't require a pulling guard. So it doesn't make it quite obvious where this play is going to go, at least pre-snap. And this is a very deceiving formation. You can see the power that you have with 2 tight ends here on the line of scrimmage. So you've got 7 blockers up front here. But also, you got 2 wide receivers up here at the top. So you can get a little creative with this formation. Not only could we run that play going off to the right, but we could do the exact same thing going left. And if we want to get really creative, we could run a sick play action play out of this. A play action to Smith going left, and you could send maybe Devereaux on some kind of a wheel route, going to the outside, send this other receiver maybe on a deep post to the middle, so you can attack the deep middle or the deep sideline. But it's a simple concept. It's a simple run play, but you can do a lot. You can build off of this, and it's not completely obvious where these plays are going to go. Looking pre-snap, a defense cannot automatically say, okay, he's lined up like this. This play's going here. There's a lot of different things you can do, even with just this simple single back formation, and that's something that I really want to try to point out to you guys. And Hobart does do a few different things. You know, they will run a few rollout plays this way, and they do have a few different running concepts that they'll use. But I love this particular play because it doesn't require a pulling guard. You've got the whole line blocking down this way, and Noah Smith is basically able to make his read and make a good cut because he's a good cutback runner. Basically, what I want to show you, that, you know, options that you have out of this formation, they're going to just basically run a rollout. This play, you've got two receivers up here at the top. Devereaux basically going to try to run a corner route, and you've got this outside receiver who's basically going to run a 5-yard out. Now what happens here is Devereaux actually ends up getting jammed about 3 yards down the field. This corner actually does an outstanding job of knocking Devereaux off his route, but this receiver on the outside actually becomes wide open. Barris just doesn't see it, and by the time, you know, he gets outside the pocket, this play is pretty much dead and it's too late. But let me kind of play this clip along a little bit. Okay, now as you can see here, this corner gets an outstanding jam on Devereaux. And as you can see, Barris is looking at Devereaux. He's not really paying attention to this outside receiver. But if he was looking at this outside receiver, he would see that as soon as he's making his break, this area of the field is wide open. Now we fast forward a little bit more. Devereaux still struggling to continue his route. We've got a safety playing over the top. This is actually the other cornerback, but there's a safety back here that's really in good position anyway. But as you can see here, this receiver here on the outside, wide open. You know, at worst, this is going to be a first down. 6 or 7 yards, first down. And if he catches it and can make this defender miss, it's a walk-in touchdown. But as you can see, Barris doesn't see it or doesn't feel comfortable throwing this in time because this play is wide open. There's no way this defender can get over in time, and there's no way this other defender can get over in time. But by the time that Devereaux finally does get back on his route, this play has been stretched out too long, it's too late, and there's pretty much zero chance of it working, and so Barris has no choice but to throw this football away. But just trying to show another example, you know, it's a passing concept that will work. It was wide open. It was there to be. The play was there to be made. The quarterback just didn't make the correct read on that play. But it just goes to show there's a lot of different options of things you can do out of a simple formation, like this single back, 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end set. Now in this play, this is just another example of, you know, getting your big tight end involved. Sometimes Hobart will line him up as a receiver in some of their passing formations, and he can be a very dangerous target down the middle. That's where he's most effective, is down in the middle of the field. He's good at reading zones and sitting down in a zone and making himself available, and that's exactly what happens here. Barris is actually going to do a 7-step drop here, and what's good about this drop is I'll fast forward this a little bit here. As he's making his drop, he can be scanning the field, making his reads. It gives his receivers more time to run deeper routes. So this 7-step drop is actually giving these receivers ample of enough time to get 12, 15 yards down the field. As you can see here, pretty decent pass protection. This linebacker actually ends up getting loose here. But by the time Barris is finished making his drop, he's already ready to, he's already preparing to deliver the football. And even though this other defender is starting to make his way in the middle, Barris has still a pretty nice pocket to get rid of the football. And even though this defender gets his hands up, Barris has already located his target and is getting ready to fire the pass. Gets rid of the football, As you can see here, Bokun does a nice job of sitting down in the zone, and he's got probably the best hands of any tight end in this area catching the football. And he does a nice job of going to the ground and hanging onto the ball and executing a first down. This is another play. I think this is another play that you can mix in once in a while. This isn't something I would run, 10, 12 times a game, but you might be able to run it 2 or 3 times a game and have success with it. Assuming that Hobart, isn't running a Wingbone offense, which I'm sure they're probably going to still run it, but this is another concept from their Wingbone set. But considering some of the things that Hobart has already executed out of this formation, this play might come as a little bit of a surprise. It's a little bit of a gadget play. It's just an inside trap to Devereaux, but given some of the other things that they have done out of this formation, it's going to catch this defense off guard, and it's not going to be quite as time-consuming of a play as some of the normal misdirection plays are, because he's running right down the line of scrimmage here. So, as you can see, the guard's going to block down, and it's just going to be an inside trap to Devereaux, and Noah Smith basically going to fake an off tackle to the outside. So it's something new that the defense has not seen out of this formation, and it has a good chance of success if you want to run something like this maybe 2 or 3 times a game. Nice delay. I mean, it takes a little bit of time, but not quite as much time as a lot of their misdirection runs typically take. And because Devereaux is such a great athlete, as soon as he gets this handoff, he can turn upfield quickly and turn a play that would probably not gain very much with any of their other skill players. You give this to anybody else, this guy's probably making a tackle, but because Devereaux is so quick, he can hit this hole hard, hit it quick. He's actually able to get about 10 or 11 yards and a first down. Here's a play action play that they will run out of this formation, and I like the idea of running this play action, but as you're going to see, there's a couple of things that I think they need to change, or at least be willing to change up when they run a play like this. Number one, it's just going to be an inside trap. It's basically going to be just a play action off an inside trap to Smith, and Bokun is basically going to be taken off, and he's going to be running a corner route here. What Munster does pre-snap, just like you've seen in a couple of other plays, this defender is going to drop back into a deep zone, and this defender here is basically going to get a good jam on Bokun at the line of scrimmage, try to disrupt the play a little bit. The problem that you're going to see here is Bokun is the only real option on this play. There aren't any receivers coming underneath. You could run some kind of a drag with Devereaux, maybe a 10-yard dig, something over the middle. That way at least there's another option besides Bokun on this particular play. But let's run through the play now. So as you can see, it's going to be kind of a fake going this way to Smith. You've got the right guard kind of pulling out here as, for some good pass protection. But the problem that you're going to see, as soon as Barris makes this read, I think he's concerned about this defender over the top here making a play on the football, so he doesn't want to throw this route to Bokun. But the problem is, you don't see anybody coming underneath over here. There's really no other option on this play other than Bokun. So as soon as he sees Bokun's not open, Barris is going to tuck it and run. And, he's not the greatest runner in the world, not the greatest athlete, once he has to take off and run, and Munster's able to get in there and get the sack. But I like the concept of wanting to, throw a play action there, but you got to have more than one option on the play, more than one read, and that's a big flaw that I see within that play. But it's just something else from that same formation. You can mix up a lot of those different things, and a defense is going to be caught off guard because there's just so many, it's almost endless what you can do with a simple formation like a single back set, because the run plays aren't completely obvious, and there's a lot of different play actions and rollouts and quick passes that you can do to really just make a defensive coordinator's head explode.